Welcome to the Live Full, Work Fun podcast. This is the show to encourage you to live your life to the fullest and do fun work that fuels your lifestyle. Hi, I'm your host, Gayla Scrivener. Every week, you'll be introduced to amazing guests, useful resources, and inspirational stories. You'll discover opportunities and perspectives to shape your version of living full and working fun. Hi there, and welcome to the Live Full, Work Fun podcast. This season, we're exploring the theme, Don't Let the Start Stop You. It's a powerful reminder that while beginnings can be daunting, they're also the gateway to growth, success, and happiness. Throughout this season, we are discussing how to push through those initial difficulties and take that important first step towards your big goals, even when it feels overwhelming. I'm Gayla Scrivener, joined by my co-host, Fran Attilio. Hey there, Fran.
Hey, Gayla.
I have a question for you.
Yes, my dear.
Okay, have you ever felt like this panic that you had to drop everything? Something came in and you had to drop everything, and it was like a 5-alarm fire, and it disrupted everything, and you were working so hard and trying to get it all done, only to find out it was not that urgent to begin with.
Every week of my life. I love this topic. When you came and with this topic, I was like, yes, because this is something we're actually working through right now at 10 Touch, adding a new step to our now and next process. You come in that day and you set your tasks, you write down, okay, I'm going to get these 3 things done today. And then you go to email and there's panic emails from your client. Oh my gosh, we have to get this done. Oh my gosh, we got to redo the website. Oh my gosh. And you slip into their panic. And all of a sudden you forgot about the 3 things and you start doing that, but you haven't asked the questions. Is there really a need for a panic? And it throws your whole day off. So yes, and yes. And we are navigating this right now internally. And I think I have something to share later that has helped us.
Awesome. Yeah, I've had bosses in the past that just totally disrupt my day. And then I guess, when we're talking about our clients, yeah, sometimes it doesn't have to be like the 5-star emergency type thing, but there's the urgency because they have a great idea. I want to do a webinar because I went to this event and I need to do this webinar and I'm going to do it tomorrow. So let's drop everything and get it promoted or whatever like that.
Yes.
Slowing the roll on that is super important because we need to think things through. And what constitutes urgent and a great idea that you're excited about that I can disrupt my team's day too? But I have found that there's not a ton of things that are so emergent that you have to stop everything and do. I think that we get panicked, and what I call is reacting to knee-jerk reactions. I think you and I were in a discussion a while back that you were talking about something that was happening with a client and you were hurried to get something done. You were in their panic. And I think I mentioned to you, is it a knee-jerk reaction? And in our role with our clients, it's our job to kind of calm things down and have them pause and think through. But how do we do that for ourselves?
Well, it's a mindset shift, Gayla. And what you talked about, I just rephrase it a different way. I say that we have to shift from panic and react to process and respond. And the whole difference, there's a very simple difference between the two. It's when the information comes in, it's taking a pause. Take a breath, step back, walk away, come back to it. Think, okay, what we did was we implemented a brief. Something urgent comes in, are all the boxes checked off? Do we have the information we need? What needs to be created? Who is on the team to help create this? Who, blah, 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 all the way down the brief. And then we can go back to the client and say, love this idea. We see where you're going. Here's what we need to do it. And based on this and the time needed for each step, we see that it could be launched by X. This helps them catch their breath. One of the things I've seen, Gayla, in panic is, and this I think happens in both personal and professional lives, somebody sees somebody else doing something and they think, oh my gosh, I'm behind. I need to do this too. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why are they doing it and I'm not doing it? Working out, launching a new program at business, whatever it may be, there's this panic moment, and because you are seeing this life happening in front of you that you wish your life or your business was there. But that's where slow is smooth and smooth is fast comes in. To your point, if you feel panic, if you feel this intense, urgent feeling, it's most likely a knee-jerk reaction, and you got to go, wait, what's really in front of me? What's the real situation?
In business, a lot of knee jerk reaction comes and panic comes because of cash flow.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it's like, I need to create a new product or I need to do this. You might have already had a plan for certain things. And yes, plans can be adjusted, but when cash flow is interrupted or you panic about cash flow, then I have seen that's where the knee jerk and panic comes to, oh, we've got to do this and we've got to do this now. We've got to change the entire website and we've got to do it now. That could already be in the plan, but it's done at steps. Fixing cash flow is more of a long-term type of plan and taking one step at a time because that foundation helps with the cash flow in the future. But if you are maybe a panic mode of that's urgent that you might want to fix right now, you just got done with a webinar and you sent an email and it had the wrong link in it, it doesn't work. Well, that might be a little panic mode to resend the email with the right link. It's an urgent thing. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't get out 5 minutes after you discovered it, but it's an urgent thing to fix that problem.
Right. I tell my team we're not saving lives. And I know that sounds kind of, to some, that might sound callous, but it's true. And unless you're a doctor, we don't work for any doctors. We're doing marketing, we're doing business strategy. I say to my daughters when they get in a panic mode, say about my one daughter's still in college and she gets in a panic mode about a test. I say this and I don't mean it snarkily, although it's, and I say, will the world end if you fail that test? Now she's a 4.0 student. Okay. So it doesn't usually happen. But the other thing is, Gayla, you touched on something, and with what we do, I think it's really important to talk about for a moment cash flow. That is definitely where you and I hear a lot of those panic calls and see those panic emails. Someone is doing their books, their accountant has come to them, their bookkeeper has come to them. Oh my gosh, we've got a tight cash flow. So the first thought is, well, I'm going to cut marketing. I'm going to cut back on my sales staff. In old corporate America, there was a statement, cash is king. Well, to the new world, if cash is king, sales and marketing are the queen. And you don't sacrifice your queen when your king is low. Okay. They are this, the queen is the one that's going to come along and bring things back. And it's the two together. So, yes, you don't want to keep dumping money in an ad that's not productive. We were talking about that off microphone before, but you don't want to stop your marketing because the stop and the start, the distraction, the disruption breaks that reticular activator filing that you've been building with your customers. If all of a sudden you cut back on your marketing, you stop your social, you stop your newsletters, you pause, those are the things that you lose the momentum you were building. You don't sacrifice your sales and marketing. You also don't overpressure your salespeople to make them suddenly become panicked. And now they're in front of your clients sounding panicked. This is all about, okay, there's a cash flow issue. Breathe. What can we do? We talk about this too with what we do. Leave it for 24 hours. Take a breath. What would happen if I don't look at this till tomorrow morning? Is anything going to end?
Right.
Is So
And
where are we?
in saying that, and you work with product-based businesses. Not only product-based, you do have service-based, but you have a really great specialty in product-based businesses. And I work primarily with service-based businesses. With service-based and businesses like ours, we're a small company. And when cash flow comes into play, and when you're trying to think what can you do, it is really important to pause and see, is it something to have to do with marketing that may need to be adjusted, or sales process? They're very similar, but there may be something in your small business sales process, because marketing is that foundation of getting the message out, and that slow and steady and keeping in front of. And yes, in marketing there's call to action, but there's the human piece of it. And I think that it's important to, we as business owners, study the sales side of it, because that may be what's missing. And if you're a consultant that sells, or even a product-based business, the higher the dollar amount of something, then it's not just a click of the button, buy now. If you're a consulting company that may have a $20,000 type of consulting package, that's not a buy now button on your website. There is the human interaction and that relationship building. And we talk about sales funnels and things like that. If you are confused about what does that really mean, what does that mean in a CRM, that there is an opportunity, and what does, and how to fix that up, it's not that you would cut your marketing. It may be that you need to learn more about the sales side.
And Gayla, that is such an important topic because, and it's a good way to pause, right? So if you feel the panic, and the panic is inspired from cash flow, which most panic comes from some fear or worry of scarcity or loss of security, right? And cash is security. That's all it really is. So if you are in that moment and your first gut reaction is to look at your marketing and your sales, remember, on the marketing and sales side, marketing is not magic. Okay. So we could create for you best website, killer social plan, amazing newsletters. If the sales is not working in conjunction with and humming alongside and kind of working side by side, flowing together, if your sales processes, if your CRM, if how the contacts coming in from the marketing aren't being properly managed, marketing is magic, but it's not a magic wand.
It
And
brings the
marketing can create
leads.
absolute magic in your corporate branding and your messaging, and say to the world who you are and help them understand your purpose, promise, principles. If your sales, whatever it is, sales team, sales processes, if they're not properly synced with the marketing, and your sales team itself is not synced. I come from a company where all of the sales areas really acted like silos, and there's almost competitiveness between the silos, even if they were all working on the same customer. Oh, it's mine. No, it's mine. No, it's mine. And then they would get upset at marketing if something wasn't happening. Well, and there was this back and forth tug instead of cooperation. I believe this throughout. And I think that we have to shift from competitiveness to cooperative efforts. And that also goes to the overall panic. If your panic is caused because you're looking at someone else and you're like, oh, they're taking my business, or oh, they're doing something I want to do, slow your roll. You are where you are supposed to be. You're right where you belong. Let's start from where you are. Yes, you can be inspired or want to do something similar. That's where you take that pause and you go, okay, how can we do this? If you do the knee jerk, you end up sending out those emails with the wrong link. You end up sending out the emails where you mistyped something. You start putting something on your website where the link is broken. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. It took me a long time to understand what that means. But I think that's a big part of it too, that take that pause and look, where can we do better? If I feel this panic, that means I know something's off. So let me take a moment and think, where could I do things better or differently that will help me now move towards what I want to do?
You said something that the word half-assed popped into my head because
Yes.
when you get into this hurried mode, it's like I got to do this right now. You do a half-assed job, and then you pay for it later, and then you spend more time on it later anyway.
You know what, Gayla? And that brought something to my mind. So you do something half-assed. I love that. And you just do it to get it off your desk. And like, okay, it's out there now. And it's out there now, but you have no plan on the follow-up. What goes after that? You have no what we call a comm plan or a communication plan. Okay. So you sent the email. What's the sales team going to do? What's the marketing team going to do? What's the production team going to do? What's the engineering team going to do? What's all the follow up to that? What do we put on the website? What do we put in social? Okay. And then the sales team messages, is marketing giving the sales team the messages they need to share? Don't ever do something just to get it off your desk. That's where the half-ass comes in. You can also get paralyzed, but analysis paralysis, overthink and overdo. When you get into that flow and the pause and you leave panic and react and you switch to process and respond, you find flow. About the idea of seeing that plan, we say, see the month, plan the week, live the day. We go into the week with our priorities for that week. You're going to get emails that throw you off. You're going to get life situations that throw you off. This is where what I was talking about earlier, we have come to. But I say to my team now, and I see that this is my job as their boss, manager, whatever you want to call it. I hate those words. But when life happens, come tell me. It happened this week. We set a goal for one of my teammates. She lost a pet. That means a lot to me. That's a big deal to me. I'm a pet lover, former pet owner. I recently just lost my dog. She really couldn't function that day. And they said, go take the day. Do something to celebrate your dog's life. And she felt really bad about it because we're taught that's not something you're supposed to do. I said, when you come back to me, I know you're going to hit those priorities. I know you are. I know you. You'll do what it takes to get it done or get it to the right place. So we leave the week in a good spot on that project, but take this moment. Life happened that week. And guess what? She took the day and she nailed it yesterday. And she got done what we needed to get done. That having more that weekly, and or if an email comes in from a client, I've taught my team now, ask me. So you set your objectives for the week, right? A new email comes in, say, Fran, where's that go? What gets bumped? And I love that. So we have our now and our next, but we also go into it not locked in that something's going to come up. Life's going to come up or client's going to ask for something and we look at it together. So it's this giving yourself some permission to have a little flexibility and flow.
Right. And having that autonomy of just living the life and having the workflow and giving yourself permission. And what we do in our marketing role for our clients, we are tasked with interrupting people's days. So we write these emails to want to get more opens and things like that, and to have that urgency to do that. You were just involved in a webinar that there was this high energy of urgency to buy now, and you got caught up in that panic that, hey, I've got this fear of being left out and I'm going to be left behind because all these other people are doing this and I need to buy this thing and to have that. But what did you do?
I paused.
You
I
paused
paused.
and you were like, I need to pause because just buying that thing, it may be the right thing, but you need to pause to see that the answer isn't in just the purchasing. In this particular example, it was you have to think about, if you're buying a system, you have to think about the setup and the investment of setup and moving into a new system and the investment of stress level and time involved and things like that. And it's good to pause. That's why we have marketing is shifting to where it's relationship building. And when you're ready and you've had that pause, you will go to action. Now, we're going to ask you to go ahead and be called to action. Humans, we need to be told what to do, and it needs to be clear of what is our next step. But as humans, we also need to pause and say, is this the right time now? Am I thinking beyond the purchase?
That's the difference with what we're doing. Gayla, what I went through in that webinar was rooted in the old fear marketing. That's a real term. People Google it. It's something that was taught. You were supposed to inspire fear, not terrify someone, but the fear that if I don't get this, my life won't be good, or whatever the thing is pitching you.
And
Think
that's the
about
panic.
that's the
That,
panic
and then sometimes that we get that way is like, I need to do this.
right now. And they script it to pull that out of you. I call it FOMO marketing now, fear of missing out, which is what I witnessed. And beautiful people. This is an observation, not a judgment. And I love that difference. I actually admire very much the two people who run the webinar. I think they're amazing human beings. I admire what they have accomplished. They're inspirations to me. And what I believe their intention is good, that they really do want to help people. I just don't want to do it the way they do it. That's my only difference. I want to do it. And Gayla, I believe that the way we're doing it, giving people, allowing people, giving them the permission to pause. We tell you how we can help you. Here, take it. It just happened to me 3 years ago. I met with someone and she needed help. She was in a panic state. Luckily enough, she was smart enough to say to herself, you know what? I don't have the money to work with Fran right now, but I'm going to get there one day. We're working together now. Took her 3 years. Now she's in a space where she knows she's built her business enough. She has the cash to do it. She also now wants to put her energy into her expertise. And now we're going to help her with the marketing side. I love that. I never mind a no when someone is standing up for themselves and what's right and best for them.
I am hearing pause and permission. And I think that what I'm drawing out of today's episode is when you feel that panic, if it's not truly a fire burning and you don't see the flames, you need to pause so that you can move forward. But also giving permission for yourself to take a breath so that you can make the best decision, the best next step. Do you have any last words, Fran?
Panic and fear are natural reactions. They're feelings, they're emotions. They come from life experiences. They come from the messages we've been taught. When it comes up, take that pause and see where it's coming from, and then process and respond. And you'll find a whole new, different way of living and working.
I love that. Well, guys, thanks for listening. And we hope that today's message has inspired you to take action, to pause, and take the right action. Remember, every successful journey begins with that first step. Don't let the start stop you from pursuing your dreams and creating the business and life you desire. Well, until next time, live full, work fun.